Hello everyone! In April 2013, the city of Nagaoka started collecting food scraps separately from other trash. Through fermentation, microorganisms convert collected food scraps into gas that is mainly composed of methane. This gas, called biogas, can be used for power generation. Food scraps amount to about 20,000 tons per year, nearly 30% of the approximately 70,000 tons of burnable trash that the city collects every year. The beneficial results of converting to bioprocessing food scraps for power generation rather than incinerating them are as follows. We can reduce carbon dioxide gas emissions by up to about 2,000 tons per year. We can reduce the amount of incinerated ashes put into landfills, which can extend the duration of the city's landfill sites. Through this extension and the integration of incineration facilities, the city's trash handling costs can be reduced by about 3.5 billion yen in 15 years. Now here is a guide on how to separate and put out household trash. The city collects food scraps, burnable trash, and non-burnable trash that are put out in designated prepaid bags, and large-sized trash with handling tickets attached. The city also collects, free of charge, plastic containers and wrapping materials, glass bottles, cans and PET plastic bottles, newspapers, magazines, flyers and cardboard, used clothing and towels, twigs, leaves and grass, and hazardous items such as spray cans and portable gas cylinders for cooking. Let's take a look at food scraps. Food scraps include vegetables, cooked food, fruits, cooking scraps, grain and grain food products, meat, fish, and confectionery. Drain water thoroughly and put out food scraps in prepaid pink bags twice a week on the designated collection days. Seafood shells, husks from corn and bamboo shoots, and coagulated cooking oil should be put out in designated yellow bags as burnable trash because they are not suitable for fermentation. Let's take a look at how food scraps from households are processed after being put out. Collected food scraps are carried into the Food Scrap Biogas Power Generation Center and then unloaded into receiving hoppers. After the sorters remove unsuitable objects such as plastic bags and disposable diapers, food scraps are carried to the fermentation tanks. The temperature in the tanks is kept at about 40 degrees, ideal for the microorganisms. A large amount of biogas is generated during the 3-week fermentation process. The generated biogas is collected in a gas holder. Some of the gas is used as fuel for the dryer, while most of it is used for power generation. The generated power is used at the Food Scrap Biogas Power Generation Center and the trash incineration facility. This greatly reduces the amount of electricity purchased from the electric power company. After being dehydrated and dried, substances that cannot be fermented are used as fuel at private biomass generation facilities. This is how we can produce new energy from food scraps. Fees for collecting burnable and non-burnable trash are required. Burnable trash should be put out in designated yellow bags. Non-burnable trash should be put out in designated blue bags. Household burnable trash includes waste paper, fabrics such as clothes, wooden products, disposable diapers, and so on. Burnable trash used to be collected 3 times a week, but it is now collected only once a week since food scraps are collected twice a week. As an exception, disposable diapers can also be put out on the designated collection days for food scraps. Put out disposable diapers in designated yellow bags for vulnerable trash and circle the picture of the diaper. Household non-vulnerable trash includes rubber and metal products, ceramics, DVDs, CDs, and so on. Before throwing out your trash, think about if you can reuse it. Large-sized trash. Large-sized trash is picked up at your door by advance request via telephone or fax. When you make your request, you will be told the collection date and the necessary collection charge for each article. Ashes from incinerated vulnerable trash, non-vulnerable trash, and unburnable materials from large-sized trash are buried at final trash disposal sites. The city now has 4 final trash disposal sites, but the sites will eventually fill up if trash is not reduced. Each household should properly separate trash and try not to dispose of excessive trash. Your cooperation is needed to reduce the amount of trash. Plastic containers and wrapping materials. Plastic containers and wrapping materials include plastic containers and wrapping materials with this mark called the PURA mark. Please separate your trash by referring to this mark. Let's have a look at how plastic containers and wrapping materials are processed after being collected. Before putting out plastic containers and wrapping materials, you are advised to empty the containers, wash them with water, and put them out in transparent bags. When recycling used materials, their quality is quite important. If there are unclean materials or remaining contents, recycling is not possible. Therefore, please clean recyclable materials and separate them properly. Plastic containers and wrapping materials are recycled to produce the following items. Glass bottles, cans, and PET plastic bottles. After being washed out with water, glass bottles, cans, and PET plastic bottles can be put out together in a transparent bag. Caps and labels of PET plastic bottles should be removed. Glass bottles, cans, and PET plastic bottles are carried into a pit where returnable glass bottles are sorted out. Returnable glass bottles include beer bottles, 1.8-liter sake bottles, and other glass bottles with the R mark. Since returnable glass bottles can be used repeatedly after being washed, put them out at the city's recyclable material collection sites, return them to liquor stores, or put them out on collection days of your neighborhood children's club. After being sorted out, compressed, and packed, PET plastic bottles are carried to recycling plants. Recycled PET bottles are converted into the following items. Each recycled item has this recycle mark. You are encouraged to use these items. Cans are sorted into aluminum cans and steel cans. After being compressed, they are carried into recycling plants and converted into new items. Newspapers, magazines, flyers, and cardboard. Newspapers, magazine flyers, and cardboard should be sorted into these three categories, tied with a string and put out at your collection site. Newspapers, magazines, and flyers in large paper bags cannot be collected because the contents of the bags are not visible. Small pieces of paper should be put into magazines or folded flyers. Waste paper materials are carried to collecting dealers. They sort everything into newspapers, magazines, flyers, and cardboard, which are then carried to paper manufacturing plants and recycled. Recycled newspapers are used for newspapers or magazines. Magazines flyers are for boxes for detergent or sweets, and recycled cardboard is turned into cardboard again. Used clothing and towels. Clean used clothing, towels, sheets, and blankets should be put out in transparent bags. They'll be carried to handling dealers and sent to various parts of Japan and abroad. Clothing will be given to people in need. Towel, blankets, sheets, and blankets will be reused as rags for industrial machinery and protective cloth for transporting various items. Twigs, leaves, and grass. Twigs, leaves, and grass from household gardens are collected. Twigs should be tied with a straw or a hemp string. Leaves and grass without any soil should be put out in transparent bags. Collected twigs, leaves, and grass are carried to a special trash handling facility, and they are recycled to produce compost and organic fertilizer. Twigs, leaves, and grass free of any foreign objects can be recycled to produce compost and organic fertilizer. They should be properly separated from other trash. Hazardous items. These are hazardous items. Fluorescent light tubes should be put out in their original wrapping materials or wrapped in newspapers and put out at your trash collection site. Spray cans, cassette cylinders for cooking, lighters, batteries, and mercury thermometers should be put in transparent bags. Labeled "Kiken," hazardous, and put out at your collection site. At the city's trash handling facility, visitors can observe how trash is handled. This will help you think about the issue of trash handling to realize the importance of reducing and separating trash properly. Everyone is welcome to visit the facility. Do you know what the 3 R's stand for? The first R, reduce, means to avoid acquiring unnecessary items and avoid generating unnecessary trash. The second R, reuse, means to reuse all things as much as possible before throwing them out. The third R, recycle, means to separate trash properly so that it can be recycled as a reusable resource. You are encouraged to participate in the 3 R's campaign in order to reduce and recycle trash. We are surrounded by so many things and so much trash. Now is the time for everyone to think about trash. With the city's trash handling motto, if it's all mixed together, it's trash, but if it's separated, it's a resource, and the spirit of mottainai, let's work together to separate trash properly and reduce trash in order to keep Nagaoka beautiful.